Have you ever found yourself lying in bed at night exhausted, yet scrolling mindlessly through your phone, knowing you should sleep, knowing you have important things to do tomorrow, but somehow unable to stop? That moment, that seemingly simple inability to put down your phone and rest, is the tip of an iceberg that's slowly draining your energy, leaving you in a constant state of tiredness that no amount of coffee seems to fix. The cycle begins almost imperceptibly. A slight hesitation before starting a task, a moment of delay that seems harmless at first. Yet this pattern of procrastination, this constant pushing of responsibilities into some imagined future, creates a weight that many carry without understanding its true cost. It's a weight that manifests as perpetual exhaustion, a tiredness that seeps into every aspect of life, leaving many wondering why they feel so drained despite seemingly doing nothing. This exhaustion isn't just physical. It's a complex web of mental, emotional, and physical fatigue that feeds upon itself. The procrastinator lives in two times simultaneously: the present, where they avoid what needs to be done, and the future, where they imagine themselves finally taking action. This split existence consumes enormous amounts of mental energy, creating a state of constant low-grade stress that the body and mind must continually process. What many don't realize is that procrastination itself is exhausting. The mental effort required to avoid a task, to create excuses, to manage the anxiety of unfinished work, it all demands energy. Every time you think about what needs to be done, then choose to delay it, your brain engages in a complex dance of rationalization and self-negotiation. This internal struggle burns through mental resources far more quickly than simply doing the task would have. The procrastinator's mind becomes a battlefield of competing priorities. There's the immediate desire for comfort or pleasure, the appeal of scrolling through social media, watching one more episode, or putting off that important call until tomorrow. Then there's the growing pressure of responsibility, the knowledge of what needs to be done, creating a background noise of stress that never fully quiets. This constant internal conflict drains energy that could have been used for productive work or genuine rest. The irony lies in how procrastination corrupts our attempts at rest. When we delay important tasks, we never fully relax during our downtime. There's always that nagging awareness of what we're avoiding, turning what should be rejuvenating leisure time into a guilt-ridden limbo. We're neither working nor truly resting. We're stuck in an energy-draining middle ground where we can't fully engage with either activity or relaxation. This pattern creates what psychologists call sleep procrastination, staying awake later than intended, not because we're busy with important tasks, but because we're trying to reclaim the time we feel we've lost during the day. We push back our bedtime, telling ourselves we deserve some me time after a day of stress, even though that stress was largely self-imposed through procrastination. This disrupts our natural sleep cycles, leading to poor quality rest and even greater fatigue the next day. The physical toll of this cycle is very real. When we procrastinate, we often rush to complete tasks at the last minute, forcing our bodies into high-stress states. This triggers the release of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, designed for short-term emergency situations, not chronic daily use. Over time, this hormonal roller coaster leaves us feeling drained, contributing to that persistent feeling of tiredness that seems to have no clear cause. What makes this cycle particularly insidious is how it feeds into itself. When we're tired, our willpower weakens, making us more likely to procrastinate. When we procrastinate, we create more stress and fatigue, making us even more tired. It becomes a self-perpetuating loop that can feel impossible to break, each turn of the wheel drawing more energy from our depleted reserves. The digital age has only intensified this problem. Our devices offer endless opportunities for instant gratification, quick hits of dopamine that our tired brains crave. Each notification, each scroll, each click provides a momentary escape from our responsibilities, while simultaneously making us more tired and less likely to engage with meaningful work. We are caught in a web of digital distraction that masquerades as rest, but actually depletes us further. Breaking free from this cycle requires understanding that procrastination isn't just a time management problem, it's an energy management crisis. The solution isn't found in complex productivity systems or stricter schedules, but in recognizing how our avoidance behaviors are draining our energy and corrupting our ability to truly rest. The path to recovery begins with small steps. It starts with acknowledging that the energy spent avoiding a task is often greater than the energy required to complete it. It involves learning to distinguish between genuine rest and procrastination-driven avoidance. True rest rejuvenates, avoidance depletes. Understanding this difference is crucial for breaking the cycle of perpetual tiredness. Real change comes from developing a new relationship with our tasks and our energy. It means learning to face what needs to be done without the added burden of self-judgment or anxiety. It means understanding that procrastination isn't a character flaw, but a habit that can be gradually reformed through self-awareness and compassion. The goal isn't to become someone who never procrastinates. That's unrealistic. Instead, the aim is to develop a healthier approach to our tasks and our time. One that allows us to maintain our energy rather than constantly depleting it. When we begin to take action promptly, we free ourselves from the exhausting weight of avoidance, creating space for genuine rest and recovery. This transformation doesn't happen overnight, but with each task we face directly instead of avoid, with each moment we choose action over delay, we begin to reclaim our energy. We start to break free from the cycle of perpetual tiredness, finding that when we stop spending our energy on avoiding life, we have much more energy for actually living it. As this shift takes root, we rediscover the joy and satisfaction that comes from progress. Completing a task no longer feels like a chore, but becomes a source of empowerment, a reminder of our capability to handle life's challenges. Each small victory builds momentum, gradually dismantling the barriers of procrastination and replacing them with a sense of control and purpose. This newfound energy creates a ripple effect, extending far beyond productivity. We sleep better because our minds are no longer weighed down by the burden of avoidance. Our relationships improve because we're more present, less distracted by the invisible stress of unfinished tasks. Even our leisure time becomes richer, as we can truly relax without the shadow of guilt or anxiety hanging over us. In this state of balance, life feels lighter. We realize that productivity and rest aren't opposing forces, but complementary elements of a well-lived life. By tackling tasks when they arise, we preserve our energy, freeing ourselves from the exhausting tug-of-war between action and avoidance. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress, a sustainable rhythm that allows us to thrive instead of merely survive.